Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm Derek Lemaster.
This is Screen Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week. We go over the horror news. And guys, I gotta let you know the secret. I know what you did last summer. You were doing this podcast for at least once a week during it, so I know that
I was
at
gonna
least.
say,
I
are you
know
spying
that
on me again?
always. I mean, I have a camera in your basement. It's not a big deal.
No.
Some people might say it's invasion of privacy. I say it's keeping tabs. I'm just making sure you're okay. You know, you got to look out for your people. You got to watch out for them.
You never know.
How are you guys doing tonight? Yeah,
Doing good. Had a long day.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, Lydia. I had a fight with a 2-year-old. I won.
good.
No.
Punch him right in the face.
No, she.
Works
It's
every
about
time.
time. Look, it's about time you won. I mean, I'm tired of you calling me, crying, talking about how you're getting beat up by 2-year-olds.
I'm never gonna make it. Some nights I feel that way. Last night, man, I literally had to rip her out of the tub.
Did you bring the knuckle? Did you bring the brass knuckles? Like I told you, that's the only way.
Yep, in the bat.
You give it the edge. You give him the edge. Yeah, I know. I've had a pretty long day, but I also had a great day because we're talking about this movie. Just finished Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. If you guys haven't seen it, you should. Not a horror movie, so we're not going to do it on this podcast, but I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. It's great. Had a great time with it. Eddie Murphy being Eddie Murphy. Being Axel Foley, actually, which is even better. So check it out. It's a lot of fun. So, guys, we will talk about what happened last summer. Or as Derek put in the title of this video, last summer I know what you did. What are you, fucking Yoda? Last summer I know what you did. Hmm?
That was the inspiration, although I'm sure he would have phrased it differently. But that was my inspiration.
That's pretty close. I think that's how he would have said it, right? That sounds about right. Sounds grammatically Yoda correct. We got some horror news. But not a lot. It's been a slow week for the horror news. But guys, this bit's kind of cool. Let's start with this. Arrow Video is releasing the Friday the 13th remake to 4K with a shitload of bonus features and special commemorative, I can't say that word, commemorative shit. So check this out. Here's the set that comes with it. So it has brand new artwork, the poster, this little book, this Crystal Lake postcard. Look at that artwork.
It looks good.
Looks nice.
Yeah. And this thing is releasing in September. And it has, like other brand new features, has brand new commentary, has both cuts of the movie, has 2 actually brand new commentaries, and some new interviews and new documentary. So, if you're a physical media collector and a horror aficionado like myself, this is great news. Though, I just bought the Shout Factory, set, the Blu-ray set, that's 4K scans of the first 4 films. So, I'm going to be buying Friday the 13th movies until the end of time. Basically, is what it's boiling down to is every new format, I'm just going to buy them. That's what I'm going to do with the Halloweens, Evil Dead 2. I mean, I fucking own that on Betamax, essentially. So it's like, it's never going to end. What do you guys think of this? Looks good?
Looks great.
It does look good. I like the new cover. That new cover looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, and we haven't got to that one yet, but I think it's a good remake. I think it's a solid remake. We have only like 6 or 7 more movies to get there. It's a lot of F-13 films, guys. A lot of F-13s, and we're on part 5 next, which is a definitely an experience that we'll go through. It's not bad, but it's definitely very porny, so that's going to be fun. Guys, this is after...
You say porny?
It's a little porny. There's some porny in it. Some porn moments to Friday 5. I mean, you don't remember? There's a lot. I mean, there's a chick in the woods, and then she gets the
What's
tree
the
around the head.
overall like theme of it? Like who?
That's the Roy
What
one.
are we on?
We're not going to talk about it.
Are we on 4?
We're on 5. We already did 4.
We're on 5. Okay.
Yeah. We did the final chapter, right? With Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're in part 5.
Sorry, it's easy to get lost.
It is. It is. Especially without a map. All right, guys. This is apropos for today, which is Freddie Prinze Jr. has a new movie coming out. It is called The Girl in the Pool. It's going to be out on July 26th. This movie is about a girl in a pool. I'm just kidding. There's more to it than that. Basically, here's the synopsis.
Sounds
On
about
his
right.
birthday, Tom's life collapses when his mistress is found dead in his pool. Terrified of the consequences and desperate to protect his family, he conceals the truth, triggering a chaotic night that threatens to unravel his perfect life. It has Freddie Prinze Jr., Monica Potter, and Kevin Pollak. It sounds like not protect his family, more like protect himself. That's what that sounds like to me. What do you guys think of this concept, and are you interested to see it?
Well, it's super relevant to what we're about to watch, so that's convenient. I don't know.
Yeah, the original title to it was called I Know Where You Swam Last Summer.
See, they should have led with that.
Yeah, should have. What do you think, Lydia?
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I don't watch too many Freddie Prinze Jr. movies, but depending on the trailer, I might give it a go.
You know what? You got to check some out. If nothing else, you got to watch the Scooby Doo's. Those are fantastic.
Oh, well,
those are hilarious.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, that's probably his best role because he's pretty much Fred, I think, in real life.
I actually quote him from those movies like almost daily.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. There's so many good quotes from those.
They're good. Those are very funny. Guys, Lydia, guess what? We have some news. It seems like the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark sequel has stalled at this point.
Oh no.
Yeah. The writers and the writer Kevin Hagman says it's stalled right now. We actually don't know. We wrote a draft. Guillermo had a story direction of where to take it. We can't get into it, but we wrote something, and that's the last we know. We know a lot of people liked it, but we also know that nothing's happening right now. We're in the dark with you guys. So that is an unfortunate update. Hopefully, we get some more news. You guys definitely want to see a sequel to this, right?
Yeah, they should just maybe somebody send them my number and I'll go over it and check it out for them, let them know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to directing it if you guys need a filmmaker. I mean, give it a shot. Right, Derek? What do you think?
Yeah, that's sad. I remember watching this last year, the first one, so I would have liked to have seen what they could have done with the second chapter. So hopefully they work their stuff out.
I agree, hopefully. We have a new MonsterVerse movie coming out in 2027. We don't know which one it is yet, but we do know that it has a release date of March 26, 2027. So the MonsterVerse lives on and is strong. Godzilla X Kong is coming out on Max tomorrow. It releases on the Max. It was a big box office success, made over $500 million.
I know what I'm doing tomorrow night.
Godzilla is king. So, yeah, you've been wanting to watch that for a while, Derek.
Yeah, I have.
So, yeah, it's comes out tomorrow on the old Max. Are you guys excited that you guys want to see the MonsterVerse continue, right? I mean, they're fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They haven't made a bad one,
wait.
I don't think. I don't think there's been a bad one. I like the original Godzilla 2014 was pretty good. Godzilla King of the Monsters was phenomenal. And then Kong Skull Island I loved. and then Godzilla vs Kong was just mind-blowingly awesome. I think. And this new one's a lot of fun. Did you see Godzilla vs Kong, Leah?
Not yet. No.
Oh, Derek loved it, didn't you, Derek?
Yep.
Wait, did I? Yeah, I think I did actually. I think I did.
Lydia, did you?
With with the like Mecha Godzilla or whatever.
Yes, with Mechagodzilla.
Yeah. I definitely saw
And,
that. That was
you know,
really good.
Godzilla and Kong. That's how you know
Yeah.
if it's the one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I definitely saw that. I had to watch it to approve it for my mom because she was like convinced that somehow King Kong was going to win over Godzilla, and that would have upset her too much.
You had to play
like, Mom,
spoiler for her?
Yeah,
one is a
Mom,
king.
It's going to be okay.
The other's a god.
I mean, the king. I mean, Godzilla is the king. Kong's not King Kong yet. He's still just Kong. So, and then the last bit of horror news. Rumors have been circulating. Sam Raimi has somewhat confirmed that he is in active development for a Drag Me to Hell sequel.
I saw that. Yeah.
How exciting is that, you guys?
That's so insane.
Trying to give a good one.
100%. Yeah, that's the heart.
Yeah.
I'm 100%. We loved Drag Me to Hell. That was one of our earliest reviews, and we adored that movie. Like, I mean,
good.
So good. So funny. I mean, I all the time quote, "You black-hearted bitch."
Yeah.
It's just the best. And that wraps up the horror news. Derek, thank you. Those are emojis. Congratulations. I feel like sometimes Derek sometimes feels like Kronk to me.
Who?
Gives me Kronk vibes.
Kronk. What's Kronk? I don't know.
From the Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, you're so funny.
That was great. That's a great movie. We should cover that on this podcast.
Sarah was watching it the other day because Connor was watching it, and I was watching it and laughing at a bunch of stuff. I still laugh at all the same bits on Shrek too. Every time we fucking watch that damn movie. Every time he starts talking about
Shrek.
The line that makes me laugh the most is after Shrek yells in his face and he goes, "Boy, that was really scary." And let me tell you, if that doesn't do the trick, your breath will definitely get the job done because your breath stinks.
Me and my dad always quote the part where he's like, "I'm a master of the stairs. I'm the stair master."
I'm the stair master. Yeah.
We always say that. Like anything that we're doing, we're like, we're doing cake. We're like, "I'm a cake master."
Shout out to Eddie just for being excellent and everything. God,
yes.
I love Eddie so much. He's so funny.
You know what? I think it's time. I think tomorrow I might try to convince my wife that Clark should watch Shrek.
Oh, he hasn't watched Shrek yet?
Oh my gosh!
Why not?
Because we're a sheltered group of people over here, man.
Oh my goodness!
What's wrong with Shrek?
Has he watched Shrek? I mean, it's got some way over his head. He'll never understand it.
Yeah,
that's the best.
I'm trying to think if he has seen it or not. I don't think he has. But you know what?
It's not like it's goddamn Nightmare on Elm Street, Derek. It's Shrek. It's made for him.
It's made for everybody. Let's be honest. It's a good movie, regardless of age.
It's an incredible movie.
Dude, I will not. I'm going to tell this really quick. I will never forget when Baby's Day Out came out. It was a long time ago. Anyway, my grandma.
It was the 90s.
Yeah, my grandma. She used to watch that movie and just laugh her ass off. I loved it. She just I don't know. It really got her. She would just.
That's a
laugh.
Weird movie.
It is a strange movie. It was strange. I mean, man, it's it has its moments. It's a really weird one. Your grandma was all about that one, eh?
Yep.
Did she laugh so hard she lost control of her bowels? The pause is what made it. The pause.
We all just froze.
The pause made the joke. Good job, everyone. Good job. 10 points for that joke. So
I might have
guys,
to look into some new friends.
I don't know about you. That's some funny shit. That's all I can say. So, whoa, what was that?
I don't want to tell you what it was.
Are you playing with magnets again? You're playing
It was
with
a
magnets.
magnet.
I'm not playing with anything.
It was a magnet.
It is a stack of magnets.
See, I'm telling you.
Jake was asking me questions about magnets today, and I was like, "We need to talk to Derek about this."
So it's
I was
random.
like, I don't know the answer.
So how do magnets work?
He was like, "Do you think I could like make a new machine out of magnets?" And I was like, I don't think so, Jake. I think it's probably been thought of.
Brilliant.
It's like if by anybody, Derek probably has already thought about it.
Yeah, Derek's the battery man and the magnet man.
Yep.
Those are his two favorite
Whatever.
things: batteries and magnets.
Everybody's got to have a hobby. Some people have multiple hobbies.
Hey, man,
So,
that's not nothing bad. It's, you know, you
no.
have your batteries.
Could be
and you have
worse.
your magnets. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't go well
Sometimes
together.
though,
Yeah,
when you're playing with your magnets, it can be polarizing. All right,
I feel
guys.
some
Picture it.
negative forces in this podcast.
That's just my sheer
Need to get some
magnetism.
positive vibes.
So, guys, picture it. It is 1997. It is a year removed from a little film coming out. You might have heard of it, called Scream. Wes Craven's Scream. So, a movie that Kevin Williamson wrote prior to Scream gets picked up because, I mean, this is the writer of Scream, and it is an adaptation of Mary Duncan's story, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Or Lois Duncan, I mean. And guys, believe me when I tell you, I remember this thing. Do you guys remember I Know What You Did Last Summer? And what's your story about it? Lydia, let's start with you. You're the young one. I want to hear
Yes.
your first adventure with this film.
Okay, so as you already know, I watched Scream like probably when I was like 6, and it traumatized me horribly.
Yeah, it's one of
So
your...
I think it was, several years later when I was probably, in my teens that I tackled this movie. And then it was on all the time on TV, and like my dad had it on VHS. So it was just, I've seen this movie so many times. But yeah, I don't really have like a specific story. I just remember so many times just like it being on and just being like watching it and being like scared.
Yeah, it just was there.
Mm-hmm.
Derek, how about you, buddy? You're muted, buddy. Oh my god, this is a horrible episode for you already.
Anyway, as I was saying quietly, I haven't seen this movie in probably almost 20 years. Like, it's been a long freaking time, and I'm old. And I don't have like a real story about it, other than, I have a crush on Sarah Michelle Gellar, and she was in this, in this movie.
Well documented.
Yeah, kind of packed full of like heartthrobs and whatever the opposite, like the female version of that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't seen this movie in a while. I don't have a real story behind it. I remember watching it.
Yeah, so
VHS.
what I remember about this movie, it's one I owned on VHS for sure. I remember when it came out because it came out on the heels of Scream, and Scream 2 came out that same year in 1997. And I remember seeing the trailers, especially the shot I always remember is, her spinning and what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
That bit, that's the trailer moment. I remember that very vividly. And then I didn't see this in theaters or anything, but when it came out on video, I think we just bought it because my mom back in the day was subscribed to Columbia House. Do you guys know about Columbia House?
Yeah.
So Lydia, Columbia House was this deal where you would basically you had a subscription, and you got sent a magazine that had music or movies in it, and you got to pick the movies that you wanted sent to your house to buy, and they would just ship them to your house. And you'd also get free ones. So if you did so many, you got free VHSs, or some for $1 or what have you. This was a Columbia House purchase because I remember it arriving at the door. And this was always a great day for me. If I'm walking home from school, and or in this case, got off the bus and I'm going into the school or going home, and I see the mailbox and there's a big box, then I know fucking Columbia House movie day. So I knew if it was around Christmas, I wasn't allowed to open them because it could probably be a Christmas present. But this one wasn't, so I opened it and I saw it, and then I remember this one. Zachary and I watched this all the time as kids, and the sequel, which is horrible, and we'll talk about another time. But so I've I've lived with this movie for a while, and I've always thought kind of the same thing about it. And watching it this time, my opinion hasn't really changed. I've always kind of felt this movie fits in a certain category. But let's talk about the cast, because you mentioned it, Derek. This is kind of like the Tiger Beat cast, right? I mean, this is the who's who, the new generation Brat Pack is what this movie is. The CW cast, as it were, is what it would be now. Then it would be, what was it? What was the old channel? WB Network?
Yeah, the WB
Is that what it was
network.
then? Yeah.
Yep.
So this is that cast, for sure. What do you guys think of the cast and their characters?
So I want to get one thing. Okay, we can talk about this, and then I'll get to the other thing. So, it was a good cast. I mean, it's kind of hard to sum up in words.
More than
They were
words.
Yeah, I know, right? So I don't know. There wasn't anything other than like they are a beautiful cast. There wasn't anything super special. There isn't anybody who really excelled in acting out of this. I think they all did fine jobs, but they were definitely in it for the looks. You know what I'm saying? And kind of what they had going for them. What else to say? Lydia,
what do you think, Lydia?
What say you?
I think that's a really interesting take because I don't like watching movies today where like the cast is too beautiful, where I'm just like, oh, these are just models in this movie.
But
it drives me crazy, especially when it's like teenagers and stuff. I'm like, I don't care about these beautiful people.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, I'm like, maybe it's because, I looked up to them from a young age that like I loved, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Jennifer Love Hewitt. And I was like, I really didn't know the guys from anything because I hadn't seen anything else with them in it at that time. But, I don't know. I just really loved this cast. I think it's great that they're all in it together.
Yeah, I think they're serviceable. Like you said, Derek, none of them are like stand out, but I think they do give pretty solid performances pretty much all the way around. I will say one of the things that makes me laugh more than anything in this movie is after the accident and when she's at school and then when her mom sees her, they keep talking about how, oh, you look like death and you look like crap to Jennifer Love Hewitt. I was like, she's one of the most beautiful women on the planet. What are you talking about?
Whoa.
On what planet would you be like, you look like shit, Jennifer Love Hewitt?
No one said she looked like shit, but she did look better before the accident. Her hair was fluffier.
It was the hair wasn't blow dried properly.
That's
how you know someone's depressed.
Hey, downgrade her as much as you can. We'll see what happens.
This is the old she's all that syndrome where they're like, hey, Rachel E. Cook, we're going to make her ugly by putting glasses on her.
Yeah, yes. That's exactly.
Well, Sarah
she
Michelle
looks even
Gellar's
hotter.
Sister.
Yes.
Sarah Michelle Gellar's sister. And I'm she is so gorgeous.
You mean Veronica Vaughn? So hot. Want to touch the hiney?
Oh my God, Billy. Get out of here.
Yes. And I was like, she is so gorgeous. And they put glasses on her to make her like the jealous, nerdy sister or something. I was like, whatever.
You must work at my store. Dad put me in charge.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's sitting down there drinking a fucking Bud, completely unaware that his house is being burglarized and broken into. Better watch this baseball game.
Hmm.
Worst dad ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, guys, the central conceit of this movie. What do you guys think of like the opening and then like the lead up to the accident? Because here's the thing with I Know What You Did Last Summer is pre-accident, there's literally no horror at all.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't open with a jump scare. It doesn't open with a cold kill. It's just these teens like playing some 90s music, driving in a car that's okay, but I guess in the 90s was like the hot shit.
Well, you know, it's a great. I mean, it gives a great transition because these are the all-American teams. They have everything. They are on the
except
cusp.
for
Well,
old Ray. Who
well,
is-
yeah.
Yes.
Well,
a
he's
hanger
from the other
on.
side of the tracks, but he
Yeah.
seems to be headed in the right direction. They've graduated from high school. They've all got plans. I love like how they're like planning their life out. There's a line of dialogue that Sarah Michelle Gellar gives to Ryan What's His Face, who's been in a ton of movies and no one knows
Okay.
who he is. Ryan
It's
Phillippe.
Ryan
Anyway,
Phillippe. He's pretty famous.
But-
But first of all, can we call them their characters, by the way? Which is Helen and Barry are the two characters you're talking about.
I'll do what I can.
Barry.
So Helen is like on top of Barry. They're by the fire and they're like planning their lives out. You know, I'll let you impregnate me with our 3 kids, and then you'll go to rehab. And I'm just like, man, they nailed that on the
Yeah.
too close to home with that one. But anyway, that little banter really made me chuckle. But like they're the all-American kids, man. They're about ready to embark on their life's journey, and then they have this traumatic experience, and every single one of them is affected by it, other than the fact that they get killed because of it. Most
Yeah.
of them.
So, what's funny is Barry is an asshole from the beginning and is never
100%.
good or redeemable. Like, there's just nothing about Barry that is good. Like, you
No.
know, they're literally throwing their lives. So after the accident, they're literally throwing their lives away for him. Because
Mhm.
he's the one that would go down. It's like, them's the brakes, Bear. Them's the brakes. Also, think about this. If they would have called the police and turned themselves in, they might have actually stopped the killer.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
A
A lot
no
of
one would
things
be
wrong
dead.
with
One of them might be in prison.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
a
I
lot of
mean-
things wrong with their choices.
A lot of things. So the scene with the accident, as one I've always remembered, and it's always like just kind of ingrained in my mind. The fact that Barry's just a dick for no reason, and just stands up and starts whipping his alcohol everywhere outside of the sunroof is hilarious. But you're like, the fuck? But the fact that he's just, you know, like, what's this shit? Blah, blah, blah. And they're just, you know, I don't know why he didn't just stop the car, but instead he's like, Barry, what are you doing? You're like, watch the road, my guy. What are you doing? What are you doing? But I've always thought it was super effective when they find the boot.
Yeah.
I always like that when they find the boot. So I'm like, oh, I think it would have almost been better if that's all they found. But I love that they find the boot and they're like, oh my God, we hit somebody.
Yeah.
And then when
Yeah.
they find him, like, so do you guys watch this? You guys watch this in HD, right? Or, you know, 4K is what it streams in mostly. So
Yeah, sure.
what's funny is you can clearly see who it is now. I mean, like, I could see his plate instead. I was like, oh, that's an older man. Like, oh, and when he's in the water, that's an old man.
Yeah.
In the
for
water,
sure.
it was far more noticeable, for sure.
Yeah. But he's like,
You're
what does he look
also-
like? I don't know. His face is all messed up. I was like, I mean, it's a little bloody.
Yeah, you know,
Maybe wipe that
traumatic
shit down.
Experiences, people's memories are not great.
Right. So they make this.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Go ahead.
I want to bring this up. When you were watching this movie, how hard was it to distinguish between this movie and Scary Movie? How hard was that for you guys?
It was pretty hard.
It was really hard for me, especially the
wasn't-
gym scene.
Yeah,
The gym,
it wasn't
as soon
for
as the
me
gym
be-
scene happened, like my mind switched, and I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no dick pic.
Yeah. No, it wasn't for me because like I said, as a kid, I watched this movie so many times.
Yeah.
So, like, it just is like I knew scene to scene. And this movie, we'll talk about the movie itself in a little bit. But what do you guys think? So, first, we also got to talk about Max. Good old Johnny Galecki. Pops
Yeah,
up
I
in this
didn't.
guy.
I forgot he was in this movie.
Sarah said, "Is that the Big Bang guy?"
That's
like,
a big
yeah,
thing,
it is.
guy. You should have been like, no, that's the Roseanne guy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what you should have said.
I should have. But Max is kind of a tool bag too, by the way.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I mean, 100% is like He creeps on Julie. Like, he's not just like has a crush on her. He like see you around, Julie.
It's
And
just
you're
like
"Look."
all the
I'm gonna give
it's
him a
all
pass.
the testosterone.
I'm gonna give him a pass because she is next level, beautiful.
Well, of course she is. Derek, you still don't stop. How many times I got to tell you? Just because they're beautiful, you don't stalk them.
Hey, I only have one restraining order against me, okay? And that was a long time ago. I'm just kidding. I've never had a restraining order against me.
He's never been caught.
Exactly. I
Only
go
chumps
by
get
many
caught,
names.
sucker.
I go by many names.
Only chumps get caught, sucker.
Lydia's like, are you guys ridiculous?
We
Yes,
smoked
yes,
some
we are.
cannabis before this episode. I'm just kidding. We didn't. But that's a question I actually have: is why does the killer kill Max?
Just
He
to
was
mess with them.
There?
I
don't
guess, yeah,
He's
He
doing all
didn't
this stuff
stop to
just to mess with
investigate?
them.
I guess. But it's like he's the
No, you're
one
right.
death that just doesn't really make. You know what it feels like to me? That first of all, they needed Max to disappear because he's a red herring.
Right.
But
One of the
also,
One of the like 4 red herrings in this movie.
But also, there's a big. The other problem is that they needed another kill. You know what I mean? Like they're like, we're come up a little short on kills here.
Yeah. I wasn't mad about it.
No, I wasn't either. But then here's what happened. Sarah started asking me a bunch of questions, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I answered all of her other ones, but when she's like,
Just
why did she kill him? And I was like, because he's a killer. I don't know. Motive-wise, it doesn't make sense. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, and he was the first kill and had pretty much nothing to do with it.
Nothing. At all.
He wasn't even
Yeah.
in the way.
But he was
No.
there.
He did, yeah. I mean, maybe you could be like, why didn't you stop and investigate? It's like that scene from Dogma. You didn't say bless you.
Yeah, kind of. I guess that's the only thing we can really come up with.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the kills in this movie are weak sauce. I'm gonna just throw that out there right now. The chase scenes, there's some good chase scenes, but the kills themselves, weak sauce. They're all the same.
I agree.
Just all
Yep.
hooked. That one's decent because at least we see some shit and he drags him over. But yeah, let's talk about Anne Heche in this movie and her
Yes.
character as David Egan's sister, Missy. Isn't that her name? Missy Egan or something like that.
Sure. Go with that.
Her character is fucking wild, guys.
I mean, it kind of a bit weird and eccentric, which feels like it is closely aligned with the actress herself.
Quit playing with the magnets. Put them down.
I didn't. That was not a magnet. I mean, it was kind of a magnet. Whatever.
He just got scolded.
Whatever.
But like, what do you guys think of her character and her performance? Because it's. I think she does a good job. I just think the character is. I think she's red herring number 7, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't see her as a red herring. I just saw her as like the eccentric weird sister.
Yeah, which is
I didn't
strange.
catch her.
It's like they wanted to add like a little bit of Texas Chainsaw into this movie
yes,
somehow.
yes, that's what I'm
Now-
talking about. Like when she just shows
You-
up with a knife, and you're just like,
And the
You
turkey
could have
hanging
inferred
there.
that she knew
Yeah.
something about it,
yeah,
but I
Mhm.
wouldn't have guessed her as the killer. Maybe like, oh, she knows what's going on at least.
Well,
and
I
she's
thought,
setting
yeah,
it up.
like if anyone would figure it out, it might be her, that they like killed one of her family members somehow. Like, you know,
Mhm.
like after that weird interaction of like their car breaking down and needing to use the phone and whatever, that she like, I mean, like when they left, she was like jump scare, and then like, oh, you forgot your cigarettes, you know?
yeah.
And then she's
That's
like,
that seems so weird because she goes
Yeah.
the way she just, hey, forgot your cigarette. You're like,
like,
okay,
chill
you're a little,
out.
Nah.
Ch-
No.
chill.
Yeah.
take it down a
You know,
notch.
that was one of the most disappointing facts about this movie. Well, not facts, but like elements. This movie, Sarah Michelle Gellar smoked. I was so disappointed. I really had to
It's all the
overlook it.
stress.
I mean, that may be, but you know, get a squishy ball. Jeez.
If you covered up a murder, you'd be pretty stressed about it, Art. You might do some crazy things, Derek. You never know.
Lydia,
You might
I
you
don't
might
know
not
what
blow
you're
dry your
talking
hair.
let's move on.
You might not blow dry your hair in the morning.
Yeah, and the people say you look like shit. You look
I
like
mean,
death.
Look,
And
I
the
work
fact that the
from
mother
home.
says, the fact that the
Yeah.
mother says, the fact that the mother says,
Can you guys see this?
you know,
So
Yeah.
my daughter crawled it. It's hole. I got like holes all over my shirt. So my daughter was sitting on my lap and she's like, "Daddy, why do you have so many holes in your shirt?" I got like one right here, and I'm like, "Daddy works from home, baby." I'm rarely on camera, so Lydia, I do feel that. Okay.
You're on camera once a week,
yeah.
at least.
Yeah, but I don't really care that much, so it's fine.
So what really makes me laugh is when the mom says, you know, what happened to my daughter? And then because she's getting some bad grades, and she goes, your father would be spinning in his grave. You're like, wow. Maybe the way to maybe reach her is to try to talk to her, not you're a disappointment to my my entire family, you skeleton-looking bitch.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. There are other approaches that she could have taken that maybe were more constructive,
Less
but,
evil.
But you know, she was. It sounded like a very smart person. She did really well in school, and this seems to be like the complete opposite. She's about ready to fail out of college. Her mom says she's got like one more chance. She said the summer term went really well, but you know, I'm sure that would have been a shock. But yeah, her mom could have definitely approached it differently.
Yeah,
And like, honey,
but
you
it's
need
just
to talk. I'm here for you.
yeah.
Instead of,
It's
you're
just
a
it makes me
disappointment
laugh
to
the
your
way.
dead dad.
Yeah, all of them. And so during the entire time, like Barry is just gets more and more like unredeemable. Like when I was talking to Sarah, and I said, Ray is a fucking bitch because when Barry grabs Julie by the neck and says, "I need you to say it," I'd be like, there'd be 2 bodies in that water. I can tell you that. Because
Yeah.
if somebody ever grabbed my wife like that or my girlfriend, they're in the water with him. Like, what are you
Yeah, bro.
doing?
You better step back.
He says, Barry, leave her alone. Fuck that shit. He just laid hands on her. Go hands
Yeah.
on. Quit being a bitch, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, and also don't make a pact like this. Like,
Oh yeah, clearly. Don't do that either. Don't murder somebody and then make a pact about it. Even though initially it was an accident. It became attempted murder when you threw him in the water anyway.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like the logic is just so stupid to me that they are like, this is gonna ruin everything. It's like it's gonna be so much worse for all of you. If you get caught.
I guess the only thing I can think of is put yourself as a high school student. You're not the brightest
Right.
and the most
Yeah.
rational. right? That's probably what it comes down to. But what do you guys think of like the suspense scenes here? Because Barry gets attacked first, and there's the car scene. I'm not really too keen on. What do you guys think of it?
When he
When
gets chased down,
and hit by the car.
I like it. I thought it was really good.
I
think
don't
it's fine.
understand the point of letting him go at that point.
Yeah,
He
if
was
you're just gonna,
messing with him.
but if you're just gonna kill him anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't really,
I agree with
and
you.
I really don't understand the logic of him just. So what? Did he just walk out there in front of everybody to see, and him yelling, and then just like dip out? Like, because it goes to black, and we're meant to think that he got hurt or died. Then we get the hospital scene. But that one's okay. But dude, Sarah Michelle Gellar's Helen's is the funniest. That he sneaks into her room, chills out in her closet just to cut her hair.
No, dude,
Right.
that was her sister.
Soon on the mirror.
That was her sister. Did that?
What do you guys think of that scene? The hair scene.
That had to be super scary. I mean, it would be scary if you were the person who someone snuck into your room and cut your hair. Because, like, why not just nick a little bit deeper? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Some scare tactic stuff.
Yeah, it's all the messing with him, but the fact that it's one of those where it's like, how do I put it? It's one where they're like, the scene before, she's like, "Oh, you're pathetic with your hair. You just love your hair."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next scene, she's like, "My hair." It's like maybe you should have made that a character trait before this scene, probably.
Right, and
But,
then it shows her. What is happening?
What is that?
It's not me.
It's not me either. I don't have a single message.
Derek, what are you doing over there?
Do you have text, Derek?
Well, people are messaging me.
Yeah, it's been you this whole time.
Yeah, I like closing out
guess
of everything. Like, what is
But
this?
my phone is on silent. I don't know where the ding is coming from.
On your computer, probably.
Yeah, it's got to be through the computer.
Yep,
You
'cause
won't
I just
be able
heard
to get
that
it
too.
like
Whew. Okay,
Yep, just heard
well,
that too. Maybe
I
put
don't know
yourself
if I
on Do
can-
Not Disturb.
Derek.
Jeez Louise. All right.
Yeah, that's
Anyways,
fix it.
okay, so I just have to say, like, when she's like in the parade and it shows like her hair down, and I was like, ooh, the killer cuts 4 inches off of her hair. Like, it looked fine.
Also, the parade scene really cracks me up because it's like, what do you think he's gonna do in the middle of the parade?
Yeah, and the crowd.
And also,
And-
there's like tons of fishermen walking around. And why does Barry chase that one dude down and tackle him? Like,
well, why does Barry sit on the front of the float looking like a grumpy ass like guy that's been beat up, and he's just sitting on the front of the float like mean mugging the whole crowd? Like,
that is pretty fucking funny.
it's
That is
like, why
pretty
did I let him
excellent.
sit there?
That's funny. So Helen's death, I think, is the best one. So Barry's death sucks, by the way, with a capital S. Just sucks. Because we get like just a shot of the hook and him like, ah, and then the body's gone.
Well, it's more about the fear that you're feeling for.
Yeah, I just don't think it works very well.
She's like, the scariest thing is like that she's on stage and she knows that it's happening, and she's just, has a full meltdown.
The most frustrating thing is, why the fuck would just people randomly grab her and pull her back? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
That makes it so much scarier, because
I would never see somebody screaming and running this way. I wouldn't be like, I better stop her.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what was that about?
It was really funny. It was really funny when she was like judging that girl who was performing on stage.
That's the best. I think that's the one joke that really lands in this, is that when the girl's singing, she's like, oh my God. Like, wow. So I think Helen's death scene is the best in the movie. I think her chase scene is the best because we get like a prolonged chase. What do you guys think of this? I think this is the best sequence in the movie.
Yeah, it's so stressful when she's like trying to get her sister to let her in the freaking door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her sister's another casualty of just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Did nothing wrong.
Yep. And then,
I mean,
of course,
she's
she
not a
says,
nice person,
She
but
totally deserved it though, because she was like, her sister was clearly like crying and telling her that she is being like assaulted or something, and she's like,
the Broadway
being
entrance
attacked.
is open.
Yeah, and she's just like casually like fine, and she's like so upset, like crying and like screaming.
I mean,
What is wrong with you?
yeah, she hardcore has some favorite
Resentment.
child syndrome
Yeah,
going
Yes.
on.
for sure. I
Yeah,
was so mad about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can definitely tell
You
that
don't have
family
like
needs
an
some therapy.
ounce of love for her, like not even a little.
I think
know,
the I think the set piece itself is really good though, the chase. The ending of it's not the greatest, like the fact that she stops while
The
she's
tires.
right there in front of the people.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah, and then turns around right into him and people don't see him. You know, that's okay, but the chase itself is pretty solid and suspenseful because it goes from, you know, the cop car clear through to the store, then out into the alley. So it's a pretty extensive chase scene. I liked it. You know what I couldn't help wonder though? What I was thinking, this is my brain watching this movie. She's upstairs. She's on the phone. It doesn't, you know, the phone cuts out and everything, and she hears the scream. She hears the scream, and she's like, "Oh no!" Behind her on the wall, I could not stop staring at this giant fucking swordfish that's up on the wall the entire time that scene's going on, and I couldn't help but think, I would have fucking grabbed that swordfish as a weapon.
Oh my god. If
Ah!
I walk into a room and you are holding a swordfish, I'm going to be like, dude, what's wrong?
Yeah, you'll know shit's going down.
Yep.
Hey, I got my swordfish. Made me laugh though, because I was watching. I'm like, that's a weird set deck there. It's a big swordfish. Bet you she could use that as a weapon.
Yeah, quirky.
So let's-
quirky Sea Town.
Let's talk about the killer reveal. Let's talk about the whole mystery here, because I had to explain this to Sarah no less than 3 times for her to like fully grasp what happened here. And you know, she's like, "Well, that's confusing," and I was like, "Well, not really." And then I was like, "You know what? It kind of is."
I'm
So,
confused.
so here's what happens: David Egan gets drunk and kills his girlfriend in a car accident the year before the first accident, or before their accident. Her father is Ben Willis, who is so her father's Ben Willis, who's the killer. So her father starts sending David Egan letters saying, you know, I didn't forget last summer or whatever. So he starts sending him threatening letters. So David Egan goes to the point to pay respects to his girlfriend that he lost because he lost everything. Ben Willis kills him during that time, throws him into the water. Then as Ben Willis is leaving the murder, he gets hit by the kids. Right? So then he starts seeking revenge on them a year later with the same notes. But the kids all think that David Egan was the guy that they killed because he was washed up on shore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's where we get the whole Billy Blue situation, which is Ray visited the sister as Billy Blue and started a relationship with her over the year and then broke it off under this alias. So then Julie figures out that Ben Willis is the killer, but then has second thoughts when she sees that Ray's boat is named Billy Blue. That's what happened.
Yes.
I'm surprised you didn't break out like a whiteboard or something like that.
I feel like fucking Charlie from that Sunny episode. Pepe Silva! Pepe Silva! There's no Pepe Silva. Not only is there a Pepe Silva, he's been looking for his mail for 3 weeks. So
Yeah, if you do like look away, you will miss one of those points that kind of like, you know,
it's not very
alludes
streamlined.
to
It
it.
is definitely a hat on a hat on a hat, right? Like it's just
Yes. Well, and it also leaves for a not very memorable ending when you're so confused on who the killer is, because I've seen this movie so many times, and on this watch I was like, wait, who's the killer?
yeah.
Like,
Who
how
was
does
this
this
guy?
end? I don't even can't remember. But I mean, it's been years now since I've seen it, but I was just like, I know I've seen this movie like a handful of times at least.
Yeah. So that's the hat on the hat on a hat. So it
Mhm.
is a little convoluted. So when after Sarah said, well, because I told her after I explained it to her, and she sat there for a minute. I was like, "You understand?" She's like, and there's like a pause. She literally sits there and goes, and I said, "What?" She goes, "That's a lot." I'm like, she's like, "That's
Yeah.
confusing." I was like, "No, it's not." Well, actually, it kind of fucking is confusing. I guess I just always
Yeah. Well,
tracked it, so I understood. But
especially
trying to
when you
explain it, you're like, "Yeah,
yeah, it makes sense.
it's a hat on a
But
hat on a hat."
we're used to like Scream, where it's like we've known who the killers were the whole time. Like we know
Mm.
them.
We met them, yeah,
Yeah.
or even just the Scream ones. The motive is clear, that it's concise, because the motive for
Right.
this is concise, but they tried to throw this other character as a red herring, and then it kind of makes it a little convoluted.
I
It
was
was
literally at
one
one
too
point
many.
like, I
It
was like,
was
Yes,
one.
it
yeah.
must be the ghost of the guy that's doing it.
No, that's in part
That doesn't
3,
happen until the third one, Lydia.
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
the worst fucking thing that's ever existed. But yeah. So Ben Willis is the killer, and once he's unmasked, and that he's not very memorable, right? Slash
I think he's.
intimidating.
I mean, I think he's good. Like, I would cast him as that.
No,
Like, he seems like a
I don't have a
fisherman.
problem with the actor. Like just
Oh,
the
okay.
choice of like his reveal is kind of like a
Yeah. Like he should have maybe
shrug.
been scarier.
Yes, because he just kind of is like, yeah, maybe don't go killing people, blah blah, Julie. And she's like, you're Ben Willis. I was like, yeah, good one.
Yeah, I like how he's like, "Are you in trouble?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think I am in trouble." I was like, "Yeah, you definitely are."
So, what do you guys think of this third act boat chase thing?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so
goodness.
meh.
Eh,
That's how I kind of feel about it too.
I do like that he
It's a
loses
little,
his hand in like a
yeah,
very vicious way. That's pretty cool.
that's pretty cool.
But
Yeah,
it's meh. I never realized how much ice was at the bottom of those boats.
yep.
But that just is I'm not in that industry. But yeah, it's okay. It's nothing to brag about.
Yeah. What do you think of it, Lydia?
Not super memorable. I thought it was. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. A lot of getting thrown off the boat and back onto the boat, and
That's what my problem is. It's that kind of, what was the movie? It's kind of like these boat things. It's kind of the same thing with Creature from the Black Lagoon. Get on the boat, get off the boat, get back on the boat.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
thrown-
far more limited in its like area that it
Yes.
covered. So
Yeah, but yeah, I
kind of
mean,
give
there's
it a pass.
it's decent. Like, I mean, but I don't think it's great. I think that there's kind of some cheesy-ish moments when she, when he's like, "Hey, happy 4th, Julie," and you're just like,
Yeah.
pass on that. Maybe don't do that one. But guys, the fucking ending of this movie is dreadful.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Why? Because then they pick it up a year later, and that didn't happen at all.
Correct. They just completely don't even talk about it again.
Yep. And then they do it again.
Yeah, they do. They do. It's basically the exact same ending in the second movie. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous.
But it's so dumb, isn't it? The ending is so dumb.
It is
It is
awful.
dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially The fact that she's, the fake out with the invitation's all right. Then she goes back in and it's just like completely foggy, and she sees the writing, and she, instead of noping out of there because he obviously can't be behind her because she just came from there, she's like, let me lean in closer and look at this glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awful ending.
Yeah.
As a kid, I hated
she's-
this ending.
She's like too happy too. It's like
Oh,
you still are like. It's not like everything is better. Like your two friends are dead now.
Well, it's a year. They had a year to get over those bastards.
Yeah,
Well, one was a dickhead.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
true.
you just
The other
get
one's her
over
best friend,
something
but-
like that in a year. I mean, that's like some serious trauma. But I mean, like I get like trying to move on and trying to
Weak.
be happy. But like when she sees
Tops
that,
for me. Weak tops.
when she sees that note and she opens it, and then she's just like, "Oh, that's so funny."
The
And I
acting is
thought
super
that was
corny
the
in
thing.
this scene.
Yeah,
It's super
I was
corny.
like, you would be like maybe a little bit like sadder after like thinking about that again,
Yeah, or like
it
a
just got
relief.
brought up in your mind. Yeah, like
Yeah.
oh, that was
But,
that just reminded
dude,
me of my dead friends.
You know what it is? It's
But
when
she
she's
just
on the
like,
phone with.
oh, that's funny.
It's when she's on the phone with Ray and he's all like horn dogging on her. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
wearing a towel. Oh, Ray, you can ravage me later. And you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this?
Like, oh,
Which,
yeah.
by the way,
I
in the
think so.
sequel, aren't they broke up again? It's been so long
I
since
don't
I've
know.
seen it.
I don't
Yeah.
remember.
I know they're like separated at least at some point. Sequel is so bad. We'll talk about it. It's really fucking bad though.
I remember that one even less than this one.
Well, good. We'll do it at some point. Any last notes you guys want to talk about this one? Before
One
we
thing
do the
that
ratings?
we did not bring up, the opening, man. Gosh, those locations that they used for this opening
they're
were
beautiful.
just beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Gorgeous.
helicopter shot of like all the waves crashing was so
Oh,
cool.
Actually,
That
there's something
beach
I want to
scene,
talk
man.
about. Yeah,
Was
the beach scene is really cool. I said to Sarah wistfully, to be young again. And she's like, oh, well, I wasn't a whore and getting around with a bunch of, I wasn't hooking up on beaches when I was a
one
kid.
day she lost her virginity.
Yeah, but I was like, but she was basically talking about me. She said, I wasn't a whore like you and walking around. And I was like, I didn't go out on the beaches and have sex either. I was talking about wistfully about them talking about their futures. And I was like, when the future was open and the world was my oyster.
Yeah. That's funny.
But here's something I do want to talk about real fast. So the scene where the trailer shot that we talked about, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
That bit. That was devised and directed by a contest winner. It was a little kid. Let me make
What?
sure I get the story correct.
No way.
Yeah. So the scene was conceived. It's according to Jennifer Love Hewitt. The scene was conceived and directed by a child who won a contest to come on and create a movie moment. Right.
That's really cool for the.
And so they were like,
Kid.
the kid said, it was during that scene they kind of didn't know what to do, and the kid said, "Oh, you should, raise your arms and say, 'What are you waiting for?' and walk around in in circle." And she's like, she says in her interview, she didn't like the idea, but still went through it. And then afterwards, she was like, well, "That was a great idea."
When that little kid's name was Jamie Hiles.
It was me. I did it, guys. That's why I'm going to give this movie a 10,000 out of 10. No, that's a cute story though. And then
That's crazy.
I also have to. There's one other little nitpick I want to talk about is when she opens the trunk and finds Max crawling with crabs and shit.
Yeah.
Goes and gets helped, and they comes back and they're gone.
Yeah.
That motherfucker
not
needs to
even-
clean my house.
Not even like a wet trunk or anything.
No shit.
You
He
know,
needs to clean
that,
my house.
That stuff happens in these movies. I mean, you just gotta
Yeah. Of course.
let it go.
Yeah.
But that one's a little more egregious than usual.
That was a stretch.
Yeah. Yeah. Sarah said, well, maybe he was in a trash bag. I was like, maybe. And but what does he do? Just close the trash bag up in broad daylight and carry
Broad
the
daylight.
body?
In the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah, in a suburban
Yeah.
neighborhood?
Yeah.
That's funny. It just made me laugh. I was like, what? All right, guys. What are we giving this? Who wants to go first?
Lydia?
Derek does.
Me?
All right.
Why me?
Jamie, what do you think? You want to go first?
No, I don't.
I'll go first.
I'll let
Okay,
Derek
good.
go first.
So this movie has got some nostalgia to it. I haven't seen this movie a lot. I think prior to this, I've maybe seen it twice. I remembered, most of the big beats. It had a really cool cast. I will say that Freddie Prinze Jr. sucked in this movie. I don't think his acting was very good at all.
It was not. Sarah said the same thing. She said, "Oh, Freddie, not a very good actor in this movie."
But I think the rest of the cast did okay. I mean, you really wanted Ryan Phillippe's character to bite it because he's just a dickhead. But
Yeah.
interesting idea. It was. I think that this movie is the perfect early teen sleepover movie.
Yeah,
You
I
know what
agree
I'm
with
saying?
that.
This
I
is
agree with
not
that.
like one that you are in college. You guys want to watch this masterpiece horror movie? And
Right.
everybody's gonna be like, that's not what I thought you were gonna say when you say it. But yeah, I'm gonna give this movie a 6. It's a little bit better than middle of the road, but it's
Yeah.
it could use some work. 6.
What do you think, Lydia?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think it's like I like this movie, but there are like some things that a little bit nitpicky about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Lydia, you do you. You do you.
I do think it's a good movie, though. I don't. Yeah, it's not a masterpiece, but yeah, I don't know. Oh my goodness, 6. I think I can't honestly can't decide if that's too low or
you
not.
want me to go, and then you can. That'll be your barometer.
Yeah. What are you gonna give
Okay,
it?
it's a 6 for me as well.
It's a 6 for you.
Yeah, I agree with what Derek says. I think that it's a solid movie. I don't think it's like 7. I think is like really good. Like a really strong movie. I think 6 is a good movie, decent movie. I think this is that one. I always considered this Scream Light. Like this is like the Diet
Mm-hmm.
Coke of Scream. The little brother of Scream. It's fine. Uh, it has some style. But it's just okay. It's not very scary. There's a couple of suspenseful scenes, but all in all, it's not even that suspenseful. You're just kind of watching it to watch these beautiful people and what have you. So I always thought it was a, an average movie. Even as a kid, it wasn't one. What Derek said about being a sleepover movie is perfectly correct. I think if you have
Yeah.
a bunch of teen girls gathered together, or teen boys, just teens in general, this is one you'd put on and kind of spook. But I remember watching this in 1997. I was 11 years old, and I remember this not even moving the barometer of scary for me at all during that. I mean, I did grow up on Nightmare on Elm Street, but I'm like, this is okay. Scream, I was like, fucking, that movie rips. And I remember watching
Mm-hmm.
Scream and looking out at my bushes and being like, what if fucking Ghostface is out there? This one, I've never was like, what if the slicker killer is out there? Because I didn't give a shit. I'd cut off his other hand. Like,
Yeah. All
so
right. Well, I think I'll give it a 6.5 because I think I like it just a little bit more than you guys maybe.
yeah. I mean, I don't dislike it. Derek,
But
you muted, buddy.
I did have like my best friend was
I was
actually like
miming.
really obsessed with Sarah Michelle Gellar, so he would always make us watch it when we were teenagers, and it's just good times.
It is.
So
I mean, yeah. That's nostalgia factor coming in. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's kind of
but
what I have too. I have a little bit of
Yeah.
nostalgia for it, but I also
I also
I've
remember
always
being scared.
yeah. Well, if it scared you, then yeah, that's good. It's always just been a 6 for me. Like even as a kid, I've always felt like it was okay.
Lydia, are you sure you want to stick with
6.5.
a 6.5? Or you
Yeah, I
want to
think
go
so.
7?
Yep.
I think 6.5 is good.
Okay. I just don't want you to be afraid to give it what you think it is.
Just a little bit higher, just for. I know I rate things on nostalgia and like how, like if I would recommend this movie to people, and I totally would, especially teenagers. Like
Teenagers for sure. This is a gateway horror movie too, I think, because it's just. You know what I think my problem with it is, right? It's too clean, right? It doesn't have any edge.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any edge.
I
Whereas,
agree.
like, Scream has edge. Scream has
Yeah.
some meanness to it, even though it's funny and all those things. It still has an edge and some, grittiness to it. This has no grit. It's toothless.
Like if you're going to earn a rated
Right.
R rating,
earn that bitch.
rated R. Yeah.
Agreed.
You're right. Good points, guys.
But yeah, that is that movie. So guys, here's a real question: who would Tom Atkins play in this movie? Ray.
100%.
Ray. He'd play Ray in my version.
I was going to say the killer, but
Remember, the rules are any era Atkins, and I think young era Atkins as the Freddie Prinze Jr. role. That's the way.
oh man, anybody could probably do a better job than he did. He really
Here comes the
was
Derek.
not very good in this movie.
I called this segment of the show Derek's Hate Train because he gets on these every once in a while where he just torches a certain actor.
Yeah.
Who was the one actor that he hated?
It was in Vampires. It was
Oh,
the Baldwin doppelganger.
yes, it was Daniel Baldwin.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 So Freddie Prinze Jr. and Daniel Baldwin are on the hate train.
In a lot of movies, this was just not his. He must have, taken the mental breaks during the takes. I'm like, I can't do this guy.
Well, no, I think it's because it's one of his earliest roles, so he's probably still learning how to act.
I mean, that's probably true
He
as well.
had to have been a model, right? I mean, look at him.
Yeah. I mean, look at him.
And he's such a charismatic character in like every other movie, I feel like, too, and he's kind of toned down in this one, so.
Yeah, he did end up with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Maybe I just have a...
You just have a bias against him. That's what it is.
No, it's not. It's really not. Like, I call balls and strikes, man. He was not good in this movie. So. It has nothing to do with him stealing my girl.
All right, so he's going to play Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, Tom Atkins is. I'm calling it.
Derek, how do you feel when those dishwasher pod commercials come on?
Lydia, I haven't seen a commercial in like 12 years.
Oh, no. I'm going to send you one about some dishwasher pods.
With Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
Well, if she's in it, then sign me up.
They're together as a couple, Derek.
I don't care. All you gotta do is go like this. Yep, he's not even there. I don't see him at all.
Derek's crush, his undying crush of Buffy Summers. All right, buddy. Do you have a story for us tonight? Oh, wait. I actually had to pick next week's movie. Forgot about that. It's my pick. And I've been thinking about this. It is my pick.
Okay, good.
And, guys, it's time for us to head back into the realm of the tall man as we watch Phantasm 3.
Whoa! Hit us with the curveball.
Yeah, so I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, you know what? We haven't done Phantasm 2 since, like, 2 seasons ago, I think.
Oh, man.
It's been a long time.
I remember the second one.
Yeah.
The Lord of Death.
Yes, we did. We did the second one.
Oh, man.
The second one, remember, where he gets stabbed when they're at the mortuary and he starts acid bleeding?
Yeah.
Phantasm 3, The Lord of Death.
Lord of the Dead, I think is what it's called, right?
Is it? Lord of the Dead, you are correct. I was that close.
Missed it by that much. Yes.
That'd be fun.
It is streaming on Peacock, Pluto TV, Amazon Prime, Tubi, and guess what, Lydia? Fubo!
Fubo.
Fubo!
Just keep in mind this had an estimated budget of $2.5 million.
It did, yes. The movie that we watched tonight had $17 million budget and made like 100 and
20 million?
70 some, 125 million.
Yeah, I think it's 125 because Scream did 170.
Yeah.
I looked both of those up earlier.
So, yeah, it's Phantasm 3. I'm excited for you to watch it, Lydia, because you've never seen it.
Nope.
Derek doesn't remember it. Do you, Derek?
Nope. I think I've seen. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. I just don't remember it.
I remember it very well. So, can't wait to talk about it. So it's available on all those streaming platforms. Lydia. And Derek, do you have a story for us?
Do I have a story?
Every week we go through this. It's like, you know that we're going to do this podcast. You know at the end of the episode I say, hey, Derek, you got a story for us? And at the end of every episode you're like, do I have a story? It's like I picked this movie before this because I knew I had the movie. So I just picked it.
What was the story you wanted me to tell?
Oh, yeah, the story I wanted you to tell. Oh, shit. What was that we were talking about this morning? Look at this bit. What was it? It was one that was kind of embarrassing, I think. Of course.
Yeah, I think I said I didn't want to tell it.
You did say that, but I was like, you got to. Oh, what was it? Retrace
Man,
what we're talking about.
Here, I'll tell So I used to work at Taco Bell back in the day, and there's a couple of stories from Taco Bell. So one of them was I called in one. It was actually a 4th of July. I wanted my girlfriend at the time was like, "Hey, I want you to come watch the fireworks with me," and I had to work, so I called off and I told them that like my car broke down, something like that. I lied, and so I remember I used to work with this guy, and man, he was like super weird. He would like go on the headphone set and like meow like a cat.
Okay.
Randomly. He was really weird.
At all.
Yeah, there was this old lady that I used to work with. Her name's Lois. She was a sweet old lady. She and I got along. She could be mean till she warmed up to you. And then, she and I became best
Is there
friends.
a story in here? Or are you just telling us your coworkers?
There is no story, I guess.
He's just like, oh, Taco Bell. Yeah, I worked there. There was a cat guy and Lois. Let me tell you, she was mean, but she was nice.
You just had to get on her good side. And
oh my god, that's the worst story you've ever told. That wasn't a story. That was just fucking your past. That was just like your job history. Your resume.
I don't know. I think
he
it
just starts like reading the phone book.
Oh my god. I'm trying to remember what the story was. It was something so funny. And you were like,
I'm just trying to give you time to remember.
Yeah.
Well,
I was trying to remember, and then you started bobbing on about Lois. I was like, I've got to fucking end this. This is horrible.
Well, you said something about like it might have been embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I was just talking.
Go for it, Lydia.
Me and Jake were just talking earlier today. We had a long car ride, so we were talking about embarrassing things or something, and I was like, I remembered that this one time I was trying to be in the marching band, and I was like, kind of like this. I was gonna be like in the marching band at my school, and I was like, it was like my first like day out there. Everybody else had kind of already been through all the drills and everything, and I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I was like, all right, just kind of like trying my best to like follow around. I was so stressed out about it. And it was like, okay, everybody go back to the bleachers and sit where the marching band sits in the bleachers on the field. And I'm sitting up there, and this like giant, like, I don't know if it was a cicada, but I was sitting up like just in the middle of everybody in the bleachers or a stadium or whatever. And it was like this just giant like cicada that was like this big like triangle shaped thing with big wings, just kind of flies flies up and just gets right in my face. And I screamed bloody murder. I screamed so loud that the entire bleachers, everyone got completely silent and looked over at me. It's so embarrassing. I was just like, people literally probably thought I was dying or like had witnessed something, and it was just like a bug that like flew in my face.
Hey, bugs are no joke.
Mhm.
I went to lunch yesterday at work, and I went to go pick up my lunch, and I parked the car, and I'm turning it off so I can go in and grab the lunch, and I feel something on my arm, like a tickle. I look down, there's a fucking spider on my arm. It was like,
Oh,
like I yelled. I was like, ah!
You were in your car?
Yeah, and I opened the door and I to get out, and I looked down, and the spider's on my shirt still, and I was like, ah!
no.
And then I couldn't find him. I don't know if he fell in the car. I don't know if he fell outside. I couldn't find him. But then for the next 20 minutes, I was going like this. Just felt the heebie-jeebies all over me.
Yes, that's what started it. Actually, was that we were listening to stories about there was this woman like in Australia who like a cockroach like flew into her car while she was driving and landed on her, and she jumped out of the car while it was still moving.
Hey, you know what? She must be related to Derek's aunt.
I was going to say, it's better than throwing a kid out the door, out the window.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Oh.
Whoa, hello. Yeah, Derek, we'll have to remember what your story was and tell it next week, because it's a good one.
Yeah.
I know it made me laugh and you embarrassed, so it had to be a good one. All right, that's our show for tonight. Be sure to comment down below on your thoughts on I Know What You Did Last Summer. Is it minor classic, mini classic, or dog shit? Let me know, because we don't think it's dog shit. We think it's in the middle. We have fun.
Yeah.
That's fine. The sequel, though, spoiler alert, dog shit. We'll talk about it one of these days. So next week, we're going to watch Phantasm 2, which you can find streaming on all those places we labeled earlier. You can follow us online at HiLaProductions.com. You can follow us on Facebook at HiLa Productions, and on Twitter at TheDoglyMaster, Lydia Spooky, and me at Racket. Until next week, for Derek LeMaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, if you're going to scream bloody.